Hi everyone, I wanted to take a few minutes to go over some information about the Learning Commons so that you can have it before you begin your research. As you can see, I'm on the deleGATE website and I've opened the Learning Commons tab. And the first thing that we're going to begin with, if you scroll down here, you'll see the Information Literacy tutorial. So let's just click on that. And when you open it, you'll see a list of 6 modules, all with different focuses. There's an orientation to library services, search strategies for research paper and speeches, and on and on and on. When you click on each module, you'll see a list of topics that are covered. And in the interest of time, you can click on the ones that you feel apply to you, or if you have the time, you can click on all of them. If we go back, if we look, there are several that would be important to you in the research process. Search strategy for research papers, searching a database, citing sources, using and evaluating internet sources. So you may want to start there, but if you have the time, I do recommend at some point going through all of them as they will be very useful to you. But I understand at this point in the semester that just might not be very practical. So if we go back up here, you could see that there is a button here, and it is a link to EBSCO, which is a very popular library database that we subscribe to, and I would say it's probably the one that most students use. Students like it because you can do it from home or anywhere on your laptop. You don't have to go into library, and so it feels very convenient. What you can do, and you can see I've already typed in my topic, teen depression. Make sure you click full text because sometimes it will give you a summary of an article that we don't actually, of a journal that we don't actually subscribe to. So you want to click full text and then hit search. And that will take you to this page. As you can see, there are almost 1,300 articles, which is quite a lot. You can narrow down by doing this and bumping up the year. So that limits it somewhat. And then you can also go down here and do something like click magazines, where then you're only going to get 91. So it gets better and better. Let me unclick this because I'd like to show you something. So one thing that is really important that a lot of students don't do is read the title of the article. This one talks about postpartum depression in Canadian teens. Obviously, it's not going to work, but I do see a lot of students who don't read through that carefully enough, and they end up bringing an article like that to class. Something else that I wanted to note, you want to stay away from an article like this. If you see this, an article with an abstract generally means it's going to be quite difficult case study. It might have a series of charts and graphs that are quite difficult, and you really want to stay away from these because they are not going to be useful for you for this particular paper. When you are citing a source, you're not just choosing that source because it has 1 or 2 quotes that will work for you in your paper. What you're saying is, after you've read my paper, you might be interested in reading this source. It also has a lot of good things to say on this subject matter. So if you can only get 1 or 2 quotes from an article, then it's kind of defeating the purpose of using it as a source. Moreover, if you can't read a first or second page of an article, it's probably not a good idea to use that. I can't tell you how many times I say that at the beginning of the search process and people still come in with these articles. So I'd really like to emphasize this point to you. Do not choose those articles. Okay, so if we scroll down here, something that might be very useful to you when you hit Find Books, Articles, and More is that the library has a listing of all the databases that we have, and they are organized by subject matter. So you can click on Arts and Humanities, for example, and you can see that there's a list here. So if you wanted to look up some articles on religion and philosophy, you would go here and you would find articles that pertain to that subject matter. Something else that is very useful, if you click the books and ebooks, you will see here the library catalog, and that means that they have a listing of books that are available to you in the DCCC library. So, you type in your topic, and if you scroll down, you'll see all the things that are available to you. I will say that a lot of students don't want to make the trip into the Learning Commons for some reason, but that often the Learning Commons or the library is the best place to find sources, and I would say that most students, after spending time on EBSCO and hesitating, realize that the library is going to be the best place for them. So if you want to cut down on some time for yourself, excuse me, you may want to consider going into the library and spending an hour or so searching. I think you can actually do your preliminary searching from home and then go in there and pick up the books for yourself. There's also a great reference section in the library. Those are the books that you can't actually take out, but I know they have a lot of great things that might pertain to the subject you've chosen. Children in America, Families in America, the CQ Researcher, all of those things, you're going to find relevant material that you can use right there. Something that you can also find in the library is the reference librarian, him or herself, and they are a wealth of, or they have a wealth of knowledge in the subject of research, and they know how to find the sources you need. So please, if you're struggling, see the reference librarian and ask for help. Not only are they very, very helpful, but they will oftentimes continue helping you when you've had to run to class or leave for the day, and they have also been known to email students with possible ideas and with resources. So please, please take advantage of that because it is a great resource for you, and I think it is underutilized. Okay, so if we scroll down, you can see that there are films available. Another great idea that the library has is if you type in websites by, or if you click on websites by subject, they've actually chosen some websites that you could use that might be relevant to you. So if we type on literature, these are websites that they've already reviewed and found might be useful to you. So it takes some of the guesswork out of it. Something that's also useful to you, the website evaluation checklist. So let's say you go out and do a Google or Bing search and you find some articles. A lot of times you're going to find articles that might not be very relevant or that might be a little bit bogus. Oftentimes it could be just somebody who has a blog who has no expertise in the subject matter. Sometimes the article is really put out by a corporation and it's not immediately apparent when you open it. So a website evaluation checklist just basically helps you go through and make sure that the articles that you've chosen from Google or Bing are actually useful articles. There are citation style guides. There's an MLA guide there for you that will also help you. Over here, you could see the hours for the circulation and for the reference section. There is a place for you to email a DCCC librarian with your questions, so you can get feedback that way. Or something that might be even better is this Ask Your PA. Sometimes it's staffed by a DCCC librarian, other times it's not. It is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it is a place for you to go in and ask your research questions and get real-time answers. So if you're working on your paper at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can actually get an answer if you have a question. So it's absolutely a wonderful option for you, and I highly recommend it. So as you can see, the Learning Commons has a lot of things that are available to you. You want to take advantage of all of it. It is time for you to pick a topic, so you'll want to start thinking about that. You can do some preliminary searching on EBSCO to even see if your topic is too wide or too broad. You can type it in, see what kind of articles come up, go find some books, see what our library has to offer, and then do I need to refine my topic? Do I need to narrow it down even further? So that's a great thing to know before you start the research process, because you don't want to wait 2 more weeks and then realize that you're not being specific enough, or that you're being too specific, and that you have written yourself into a box and you can't come up with 6 pages. So I hope that this introduction to the Learning Commons is useful to you. I hope that you make good use of this information, that you go out and visit the Learning Commons as soon as possible, and that you are ready to begin your research paper, because I certainly would love it if you would begin thinking about and start submitting your topics right away so that you can get started with the process. All right, have a great weekend, and I will see you soon.